Okay, so let's talk flock. What we're doing here is I am pre-prepping some selected trees that we will have pre-flocked. So I'll be pre-flocking these. So there's quite a bit to it. Preferably in the beginning of the season, you should pick your trees because those are the ones that are going to go bad first. So pick out a few trees. This one's super cute. It has little pine cones on it. So I figured I'm going to flock it out and then maybe paint the pine cones with glitter. Something fun, who knows. Also, we're towards the end of our season, so we have some trees that they're not necessarily going bad, but I know that they'll sell. So instead of at the last minute trying to flock out a tree, I've selected about 8 trees to flock, and then they'll be up on display. We'll display them here. They're displayed inside. And we'll put those up for sale, and it'll just be a pre-flocked tree. And I'll go over that in another video. This video right now, though, is going to be on prepping out your trees and why you should prep them and keep your trees nice throughout the season so you don't run into issues. So what you want to do first is you want to remove all your tags from the trees, any tag that is on the tree. You should by now know your species of trees, what you're dealing with. I'll have another video going over different species, how to flock those species, and what looks best on those. You'll want to go in, and especially on certain species, and you'll want to trim up. You should be shaking your trees out daily and making sure there's no needles in them. The last thing you want to do is sell a tree to a customer or go through the tree, and when they pull the tree out and we go to give it a shake, all these brown needles fall off. It's quite embarrassing and it makes for a very hard sell. So you'll want to go in, give it a shake, make sure there's no needles, make sure the tree is nice and fresh. You've already removed your tags from the tree. Then you're going to go in and you're going to clip any of the branches that are going to be danglers because it looks ridiculously bad once you flocked it and you have a bunch hanging down. So I went in, and this is super pretty. I just trimmed up the bottom just a tad bit on this one, and the sides where I know where the flock's going to get heavy and it's going to drop down and not look symmetrical. Same thing on this one. Trimmed it up at the bottom so when it falls on the bottom with the snow, it'll look more symmetrical. And you just go all the way around doing that. And of course, after you do flock the tree and it dries, if some are sticking out and it just looks, funny and out of place, you can go back in with your clippers and clip them off. Same thing with these trees. Removed all the tags. They're pre-prepped, went to the bottom, cut any danglers. These are really cute. The Douglas firs, when you either flock them or paint them with color, and there's another video on painting with color. You go in, and the bottom, I love these really long trunks because you can paint the trunk and then flock the tree. It just looks super cute. Really cute. And here's a tag that needs to be removed. So now that your tree is fully prepped, it's ready to be flocked. So look for the video on flocking. Once your tree has been prepped, you're going to go in, you're going to stick it on your stand, watch for the video on how to prepare your flocking station and how to use individual tools, the flocking machine and so forth. You're going to go in, the stand spins, so it's up to you whether or not you want to spin the stand or you just want to keep it stable and hit the sides of it. Now this tree we selected because there was a dead spot in the back of it. So instead of letting it, just die on the lot, we went ahead and I trimmed it up, kind of made it look a little bit more symmetrical. And we're going to flock it out, throw some glitter on it, and it'll be a little bit lower of a cost but it'll be a nice little corner tree for a home that'll look absolutely stunning. So this one will be more of an upsell tree. So what he's doing here is Eric is going in and he hit the tree first with the water, and he's going to do on this tree a medium to a heavy flock. And you see how he's hitting down on the branches instead of hitting into the actual tree. That's going to make it have more of like a snowfall look than like a blizzard hitting your tree. So he's hitting more of the tips on it. So we're going to show you what it looks like to flock a Fraser. So this is a Fraser. They got really firm branches. Can hold a lot of flock. So what we're going to do on this one that Eric is doing is we are going to do a heavy flock. So this is a Fraser here, same as this one. And you see how it holds the flock very, very well. So this tree looked like this one. And the reason why you really want to give it a good trim and tune it up at the bottom is because that bottom is gonna fall just like that. So you want it to be symmetrical. So tuning it up and making sure it's got a clean cut at the bottom is pretty vital for these trees, and then it looks absolutely spectacular once it falls. Beautiful. This one here we're going to glitter, glitter, glitter. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So here you can see as Eric is flocking it, we're not utilizing the stand inside. We're doing it outdoors. This is for no particular reason except for the fact that we flock a lot of trees and we don't have two stations. And so to get the trees out and dried fast, we set them up in front of the flocking station where there's more sunlight. An important thing to note is when putting up your flocking station, it should be facing the sun. This is not. And you'll want to watch this. Typically taping it, duct taping it in before use would be the best thing. So Eric went in, he hit the tree with water. He's going to be doing a medium flock on this. This is a Douglas fir. And if you go any heavier than a medium, the tree just looks very sad. Very, very sad. There's different variations. People have different beliefs on what a medium flock is, a heavy flock. Now, if you lived in the snow, you know a heavy flock would be when you have a lot of snow up in the mountains and it falls naturally onto the tree and it begins to build on the tree. It'll go through many different ice stages, so it'll fall onto the tree, stabilize, won't blow off, freeze, and then you'll have more snow. So that would just be at the tips of it. It doesn't mean you're covering the entire tree with that flock. And that's when becoming an artist comes in to play. So you would just go in and you would hit certain leaves and then repeat it. Let it dry, repeat it, let it dry. But the entire tree, again, will not be covered in a heavy flock. And we'll go in another video and show you how to do that. It's important to note that on your flocking station, any tree that is not going to be flocked, you don't want to have trees by it. Although, if you did per se have trees on accident in proximity to your flocking station and it did get flock on it, it's a very simple cure. All you go in is with a hose and water and you spray it off. Same thing with if you make a big oopsie on your tree and you per se you glitter it and it wasn't supposed to be glittered, or you do anything else to the flocking that shouldn't have been done, and you know you can't replace that tree with another tree, you'll want to go in and just spray it all off with water, clean it all up, and reflock it once it's dry. Eric's looking for spots right now. He's looking close up, seeing if he missed anything. You'll want to, after you get the entire tree, you'll want to go up underneath and you'll want to uprise it by using the flocker and hitting underneath the tree so that they can see the snow underneath. Now, is that a natural thing? It is. When there's a snowstorm or when there's wind blowing the snow on the ground, the snow will naturally stick to the bottom of trees. See how he's going up underneath. He's hitting the bottom of it. And that really just beautifies it and makes it super pretty. We typically tell our customers it takes 24 hours for a tree to dry. And really, the reason why we do say this is because you can have a back order of 8 or 9 trees. And again, you only have room for one tree to flock in your flocking station. So that gives you 24 hours to do multiple trees. The tree, if it is not facing the sun, like ours is not, inside the flocking station, it is not going to dry fast. This tree here will dry faster than the tree inside. Again, it's extremely important to set up your flocking station setting facing the sun. So what Eric's looking for is he's looking around the tree, making sure he didn't miss any spots. And what we're also looking for is we're looking for any little danglers. So as you can see, as the tree settles into itself, the little branches start to fall. Some of them aren't that bad, but some of them we will eventually, once this dries, we'll go in and we'll clip, like that little guy that Eric touched. This is a beautiful natural look when it falls like that, and we'll leave that because that's just a natural look. And this one is just going to be a plain light to medium flock tree. It's got a lot of green in it still. It's absolutely beautiful. Again, it's a Douglas fir, so you don't want to hit it with a ton. So right now it is about 12 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, between 11 and 12. And it is on a Monday. So, and we are on the last 12 days before Christmas. So it has slowed down quite a bit. So we have time in the morning to get out these trees and to get them flocked. During your mid-season you're not going to have a whole lot of time. So having these pre-flocked at the beginning of your season is your best bet. Again, every time we get them flocked up, they go really quick. So, and visualization, you know, setting your station up so people are curious when they come in to what you're doing. You have to make sure that you have the proper staffing or that you're very organized to get the job done. Again, working with Mother Nature is your best bet. So when the sun is out and the sun is shining, you know, plan to flock out the majority of your trees. Have a nice dry area where you're going to set them. We use the Pro Box, the portable storage. When we had the storm and it was raining, that's what we ended up doing, is storing our trees inside. This here is a delivery tree. So deliveries, pickups, so on and so forth. We'll typically display them here. First, what we'll do is we'll just leave them out so people, especially if I don't have any flock trees on display, we'll want them to see the flock tree with a sold sign on it. It's an indicator to buy. You never want to leave your flocked tree inside plastic for too long. So this will be going out immediately. So that's the only reason why it's inside the plastic. And the reason why is because it's going to build up condensation inside the plastic, and you don't want your tree to get moist. It's a big no-no. You want it to be dry. So don't store your pre-flocked trees overnight in the plastic. Do it right before pickup or right before delivery. Colored trees, we'll have many videos on how to do multiple colors, how to do fades on trees, so on and so forth. Again, here's the Pro Storage box, and you want to make sure you're set up right. You want to make sure that you stay organized inside so that when you do have trees, if there is a storm, if there's rain, that's just not, you know, weather permitting, you'll want to store your trees inside here to keep them safe. I mean, you figure if you have a Douglas or whatever type of tree that you're going to be flocking, you know, that's an 8-footer or larger, you know, that's 8 times a medium flock 6. You have a lot of money that's going on to these trees, and you want to make sure that you protect them as well as possible. So let me take you into our display setting. People love visuals and they love to know what it's going to look like in their home. So we did multiple little trees, a big tree, a variety of different trees, so they can see what it will look like. And these ones we wrapped lights around, so some of them have lights, some of them have glitter, some of them are just flocked, some of them are a medium, a light. And then out here today we will be flocking these up. And the Grand is absolutely spectacular flocked. So I've got a lot of these that came out, you know, 10-footers, and they absolutely love them. So we'll go ahead today. I picked 2 Grands, and we will go ahead and flock up 2 big Grands. Again, this is the end of the season, and we want to upsell some of these trees. You'll also be taking photos for your next season, so this is the optimal time for you to take photos, to set, you know, your staging up. So on your Facebook or your social media, anything that you're using, our website, you can add those photos to it. Believe it or not, it helps you sell your trees, because visuals, people want to see what they look like. And if you don't have any visuals for them, they don't know. You could do this. You could flock out some branches to show what a heavy looks like, a medium, a light, a fade, what types of glitter. This glitter is a new glitter that I got, and it really is a variation, and so it catches the spectrum of light, and it's opalescent, and so it catches the spectrums of light, and it really just looks like ice on it. Okay, so that is our video on how to prep your tree, the proper procedure, how to utilize everything, your staging. Look for our next videos on all the utilities that you'll be using, your tools that you'll be using, time, safety, so on and so forth.